3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, July 29th, 2018. Going to do a technical analysis video on Litecoin. It's an upside video. It's a bullish video because there are some patterns. There are some indicators showing possible bullish potential in the coming days. And I want to talk about that with you. And before we do, I want to jump in real quick. Many of you might have cruised over to cryptocapitalventure.io and we're still adding things, but I just want to point out that in the menu bar, it's pretty simple now. I cleaned things up. We have market cap, where you can go to our market cap website and check out market cap. We have crypto news. Go to the crypto news part of the website where it's live updated news. And then we have your launchpad, which is where you can actually go create your social profile and do live chat, post on our, status board, and, kind of just get to know everybody. So that's kind of what I did. I cleaned things up. I didn't think we needed to have profiles being created on two different platforms. It didn't make sense. So I just wanted to throw it out there. If you guys are using this website, this is where everything is in one spot, and the social platform is on the Your Launchpad menu. So wanted to throw that out there. So let's jump into the charts. Here we are. So Litecoin right now, if you look at the daily, obviously laggy behind Bitcoin. And we've talked about that plenty of times. I'm not going to talk about it really in this video. Just keep in mind, as an underlying, truth to the markets right now, most likely if Bitcoin moves up, Litecoin's going to move up. If Bitcoin moves down, Litecoin is probably going to move down. So just keep that in mind. But with that undertone, right, with that context for the markets as a whole, what's good to see, and it's optimistic to see, is the fact that Litecoin is setting up and forming bullish patterns. We see bullish indicators, and it's something I want to point out to you. Before we go to the 4 hour where we'll really jump into that, I want to point a couple things out to you. First off, on the daily, you can pretty much clearly see the symmetrical triangle that has kind of been in play here on the daily. Pretty similar to this one back here, right? So we have we have lower highs and higher lows forming this symmetrical triangle. And interestingly with this, we have this area of resistance at these lower high areas, very synergistic with the triangle right now. So it gives us a really good area to look at in terms of breakout area, right? So right now, that $90 area is a very crucial area to look at if we have a bullish run. That's $7 away from where we are, 83 right now. Secondly, on the daily, one thing I want to point out to you is if you look at the stock RSI, you can see we're out of the overbought area up here. So we're out of this area. We haven't been in oversold area since, the end of June. So just over a month, we haven't been in the oversold area. But I want to point out this area that we bounced off of in this last symmetrical triangle that we broke out of. Look where we were on the stock RSI when we got that bounce. We were right around this 30 area. And I just want to point out right now, Litecoin kind of approaching that area as we speak right now. So let's get a more in-depth, closer look at what this looks like. So here's the 4 hour, and I really want to paint these symmetrical triangles for you. So right now, and I'm going to get my horizontal line just so you have some context, that $90 area is right around there. So that $90 area is up here, is a very strong area for a breakout if we can break through that, just because that's where the 50 EMA is on the daily. So remember, the 50 EMA is right here at that $90 area, very close to the top of this symmetrical triangle. So what we have is, we talked about these symmetrical triangles, especially when we were tracking it as this long-term symmetrical triangle that broke and it didn't actually come to fruition back, a couple months ago. We were talking about the symmetrical triangle, these lower highs and these higher lows. And what we talked about is, well, what do you look for in a breakout? And it's pretty simple. You look for, obviously, you want multiple touches on the top, and then you want multiple touches on the bottom. And then eventually, usually, an average 75% of the way to the apex. The apex is the end of the triangle right here. So 75% to the way is the average breakout area of, not just a cryptocurrency, but anything trading on the stock markets. When you're really following charts and you're following breakouts in symmetrical triangles, this 75% area is a very consistent breakout area. And interestingly enough, we have this first triangle that we broke through, which was 23 days to the apex right there. And 75% exactly to the apex right here is this line. It's 17 days or 75% to the apex was the breakout. You can see we broke out. You always look for a little pullback, right? And then a second bounce up. And it happened. So that first one happened. And when you're looking for, well, what's the breakout potential? What is the target? What is the price target on these breakouts? What you do is you basically, you measure the length of the beginning of the triangle. So for this was around 28%, right? So, you know, in a really strong market, you would look for 28% breakout. So that didn't happen, obviously. That's $103. We can, you know, pretty clearly see that did not happen. But what did happen was we hit I think we hit like $95 for a very, very quick second. And you can see that wick there to 95. So we had a nice breakout. It was, you know, a very clear breakout out of the triangle. And now we are where we are now. We're in this new formation, this new possible triangle forming. So we're looking for a breakout. So let's talk about two things in terms of this breakout. Number one, we have the length of the triangle that's in formation right now. So as of right now, it's 21 days to the apex. This last one was 23 days. This one has around 21 days. And I have 75% to the apex being 15 days. So this line that you see here is 75% to the apex. Want to throw out there, it doesn't have to be, you know, you're not going to get a breakout exactly 75%. It could be 65%, it could be 83%. The average is 75% in these symmetrical triangles. So for us, that would be July 31st. It's a couple days away, and that would be 15 days into this triangle. So target-wise, what would you look for? Well, again, we would basically take the length of the beginning of the triangle, so it's around 20%, and we would take it from a possible potential breakout area. Let's just say July 31st right here breaks out. We would look for a 20% price target. So for us, that's $105. Again, that doesn't happen, you know, in one 4-hour candle. It doesn't even happen in one daily candle. It just would be a progression, and you can see how that looks similar to over here. You know, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's like a day right here, and then, you know, the next day we had another uptrend. So this was a couple days to do that. So same thing, you would look for a nice breakout through the top of this triangle. We gotta watch that 90 area for any type of resistance. So anything above right now, as of today, that $88 to $90 area, we gotta watch that for key resistance going into this little area right here on the chart that you see here. So if we break through that resistance, if we break through the 90, which is also the 50 EMA on the daily, then we might have some potential to reach these targets and to really test $100. I know that sounds extremely bullish, but right now, if this bullish trend continues, and right now you have Bitcoin taking a rest, Litecoin taking a rest, if it decides to turn that switch on again, 20% gains from the top of this triangle, not unrealistic. What would that look like as a whole? Well, right now we're trading at around 82. So $82 to $105 is a 27% gain. So could that happen? 100% absolutely in a bull market. We saw this bottom to where we actually previously were 30% gains. So certainly if this bull trend continues and we get a breakout, that could happen. And I wanted just to paint this picture for you. Look for some really key areas in that $88, $90 range for Litecoin. Let's see if we can make a run. If not, I won't talk about the downside, because potentially if, you know, we're very close to the bottom of this triangle, if we break, you know, I'll be doing a video on that anyway. But just to throw it out there for you, you can keep an eye on these areas down here at the bottom of this triangle. So right now, $82, you know, is a very key area of support. We don't want to start breaking these previous higher lows. So this $81 area, we don't want to break that. And we definitely certainly don't want to break this. So keep an eye out for the downside. Be prepared for the downside. Anything can happen. at the snap of the fingers. We always say that, and that's it. That's what I'm looking at on Litecoin charts. What do you all think? What are you all doing? Are you accumulating at these areas? Are you waiting? And I guess the biggest question, if you could leave a comment below, when you look at these triangles, when you look at this triangle that I have up on the screen right now, do you think we will have a break up or a break down? One thing to consider also, if we do get that break up that everybody wants, we finally should have that 50 EMA really start approaching and breaking through this 200 EMA, which on the 4 hour for Bitcoin already happened. So Litecoin lagging, could this be the moment where Litecoin begins catching back up? Possibly. Something to look out for, something to prepare for, something to anticipate. Really appreciate you coming by Sunday night. Tomorrow's Monday. I hope you have an awesome start to the week. I will see you in the next video, and God bless.